stay-the-course budget 14 days from now, that's simply not good enough. Staying the course is not the right course for Canadians at this time. It's the old politics, the old way of thinking, and what we need is a new approach and new politics. The new politics starts with a real commitment to get Canadians back to work in 2010. Selon nous, le ministre Flaherty fait fausse route.
We feel that Minister Flaherty is going in the wrong direction when he states that he will stay the course during the next budget. We have seen the disastrous results from the preceding budgets. The course taken by the Conservatives is the wrong course for Canadians. We can see it everywhere, in the soup kitchens, shelters for the homeless, and community centers. It is time to take a new course. We must do it. It must be done, and together we can do it.
The stimulus plan created a lot of opportunities for Conservative MPs to have publicity shots, perhaps, but very few family-supporting full-time jobs have come out of that plan. So I'm calling on Mr. Harper to revamp that plan with a razor-sharp focus on putting people back to work. Good-paying, full-time jobs, not part-time that can't cover the bills. Let's look at job creation in the service sector, where you get the best bang for the buck for government investment. And it's also a way to put women and children first, because they dominate in those sectors, creating jobs through hiring early childhood workers, educators, home care workers, and nursing aides. Le NPD a présenté plusieurs solutions concrètes pour changer la direction.
The NDP has presented a number of concrete solutions to take a new course in our economic directions in Canada. For example, the Conservatives could extend the home renovation tax credit by focusing on energy efficiency. We could transfer a further cent per litre of the gas tax toward municipalities and devote this money to public transit. For Montreal, for example, this would mean $315 million over 4 years. We must also protect Canadians' retirement, beginning by implementing a reformed pension scheme that would make it more low-cost, secure, and predictable.
Job-creating solutions that target investments in our country's greener future. At the same time, many jobless Canadians are gravely at risk right now of falling out of the workforce completely and being downloaded onto the provincial and, in some provinces, municipal welfare rolls. Leurs prestations d'assurance emploi tirent à la
Their EI benefits are running out, and they are still looking for jobs to no avail. These jobs don't exist because the policies of Stephen Harper have failed. Up to 1 million people could have to cope with a personal crisis by being forced onto the welfare rolls.
How the cycles of poverty and despair can trap families for generations once you slip into having to receive welfare. But there's still time to stop this tragedy from taking place in thousands and thousands of families. Mr. Harper can take the initiative here with this budget, and his first step should be to extend EI benefits for jobless Canadians until job creation measures can fully take hold. Let's get that done for people. Finalement, il faut changer de direction.
Finally, we must take a new course as concerns this government's tax choices. Tax cuts for large corporations have not provided the expected results for the Conservatives. On the contrary, the jobs simply aren't there, and Canada is now stuck with a structural deficit.
Old politics of reckless corporate tax cuts have actually fueled a structural deficit that the Parliamentary Budget Officer pegs at $19 billion. And that has a lot of Canadians worried. What worries them most is that their government may someday use this deficit as an excuse, the old excuse to cut back on the very services that people count on the most: education, health care, infrastructure, the environment, Aboriginal communities, and basic income support. Canadians have seen these kinds of cuts before, and they're very worried about the possibility of their happening again. The corporate handouts that Mr. Flaherty has scheduled don't offer any benefits. Broad brush tax cuts have never been an effective economic stimulus. They do nothing for struggling industries like forestry or manufacturing, which aren't making profits. And after 10 years of rate cuts, big business is investing less in innovation, not more. And Canada's corporate tax rates are now well below those of our main competitor, the U.S. So further cuts simply don't make sense. It's not economic logic, but narrow ideology that's driving Mr. Harper to continue to reduce taxes for the big banks and oil companies. It's time for a new approach and for new politics on these fundamental issues. Let's invest in those hard-working Canadians who are eager to build this country. If Mr. Flaherty eliminates his next 2 planned corporate rate cuts, that alone would generate $6 billion each year. And we could use those savings to fund job creation and to deliver urgent help to those who are unemployed without hiking EI premiums. Let's use the savings to give a hand to those who really need help right now. Let's use the savings to put women and children first in the next session, to put seniors into their rightful place, lifting them out of poverty in the next session. Voilà le message central qu'a livré
This is the key message that Thomas Mulcair, NDP finance critic, delivered to Mr. Flaherty during their meeting yesterday evening, and that's the message that I'm going to deliver to the Prime Minister when I meet with him tomorrow in order to discuss budget priorities. Big banks and big oil do not need government generosity.
Most profitable corporations don't need special help. Cancel those next corporate handouts and start getting help to those who really need it. Thank you.